Hi there, I hope you are doing great. For anyone who is not into coffee scales will sound very strange for them. However, for you who are passionate about coffee or at least know the basics of coffee, you know that it is very important to measure your coffee beans and your extraction weight. Espresso extraction is very delicate. If you go 1 gram less or 1 gram more, this will be an indication of the coffee being flowing very fast or very slow. Hence, very fast it will be very sour, very slow it will be very bitter. A lot of varies right now there. This brings me to the next point. When you want to measure your coffee beans, you want the scale to be accurate, 0.0 gram of accuracy. The ones that only gives you as grams without the 0.0 accuracy, they are a bit tricky because the way that systems of the scale works, if you are at 15 gram, and when you add few beans, you reach a point of 15.7 gram, it will still be showing you 15 gram. And the algorithm in that scale, sometimes it is weak, it is cheap scale. You might be reaching 16.5 gram and it's still showing you it is 15 gram. So definitely get a scale with 0.0 gram. And nowadays we have so many options, starting from super cheap to super expensive. I'm gonna be speaking about all of them. We're gonna divide them in different categories, depending on the price tag and depending on the brewing method. So without further ado, let's start with the cheapest one, the cheapest offering. It is around like 10 to 20 US dollars. It is a basic scale. It comes with a cover. I like this. I really like this one for traveling because you don't have to worry about it if it's broke, stolen, lost, or you forget it. It's only 10 to 20 US dollars. It is not water resistant. If water might drops underneath the measuring panel, it is tricky, you need to be careful with it. I'm gonna tear it right now. If you pour all the coffee beans, for instance right now, it will show that they're measured 0.4 gram, 0.3 gram. You can pop off the cover open and you can have it on your espresso machine. It is a bit tricky to keep an eye on it for water resistance, and I would really strongly advise you to invest in something better because based on my personal experience, I tried to save money and I went with cheap scales and I ended up buying multiple scales until I settled in on a good quality scale. So it is there for your option, but personally I would recommend to invest in something better. This brings me to the next category of scales. I have here 3 very close in price range. To start with the cheapest one, the SearchPean. It is from AliExpress. It is very minimalistic. I love this scale due to its shape. There are not a lot of scales that are super thin and small. It can fit on the Flare Pro right here behind me, and the Newton Espresso, the Bura, it can sit inside of it. It has a very small space and this one will definitely fit in it. It has plastic surface. It reminds me of the Timemore Black Mirror scale, the larger one, almost the same shape. Reasonably good battery. It comes with the silicone pad. I like the way it sits. It holds itself from top and the corners. The contrast colors on the screen are really nice, and the battery is good. It will last you long enough. It has different modes like auto tear, auto start. I never enjoyed the auto timers in scales, but you have it there if you want. It is thin. Yeah, it is cute and it is really accurate. I'm putting right now 1 coffee bean. It gave me 0.2. 2 coffee beans, 0.3. 3 coffee beans, 0.4. So it is really accurate. It starts measuring from the lowest coffee beans. And this is surprisingly good for a scale at its price tag. It checks so many boxes. It is minimalistic, good battery, good readings. The contrast of the colors is good. And it has on-off switch on the back. I really like this feature because sometimes if you want to clean the scale, for instance, because eventually they are under espresso extraction, a lot of dried coffee extraction will get there. If you want to wipe it, if it does not have that on-off switch from the back, it will keep turning on-off and switching you into different modes. The disadvantage is that you are buying it from AliExpress and you won't be having warranty. Warranty is really important, especially with scales, because accidents happen and during shipping you might get some faulty units, and even after maybe 1 or 2 months of use there might be some surprising issue, and warranty is really important in these situations. Moving on to the next scale, the one by MiiCoffee. It is almost identical to the SearchPean but with better quality. The upper surface, I'm not 100% sure if it's metal, but it really feels like metal. It feels like metal. It might be hardened plastic, but I think it's metal because it feels slightly colder than the plastic. I really like the brightness of the screen. It is much brighter than the SearchPean. It is brighter. And I like the fact that the numbers are in red. And again, it has the on-off switch. And MiiCoffee, they will offer you the support because you are buying from their seller. It checks many boxes. At this price range with this category, if you are searching for a small scale, I would say this is my favorite after SearchPean, just due to the quality and the screen contrast colors. Let's measure its accuracy. One coffee bean gave me 0.2. Two coffee beans still 0.2. Three coffee beans 0.3. Moving on to the next scale, the Timemore Nano scale. Now, Timemore Nano scale probably was one of the very first scales to offer the option of the on-off switch, curved screen. Basically, you have all the service here to measure your stuff, and the screen is at the lower part. It is a nice idea. I like it and I don't like it. Also, the switches on the side, they are not very sensitive. You'll find a lot of difficulty sometimes of getting response from them. I hate the on-off switch mechanism. It is really annoying. And coffee scale, you want it to be practical. You finished extraction, you want to give it 2 touches, turn off. That's it. Don't annoy me. This one, you need to keep holding your finger on the scale. And the thing is, the scale, if there's already weight on it, or if you are moving it a lot while you are touching it for on-off switch, it will not turn off. It is really annoying. It gets on my nerves many times, and I just wish if they offer the option, just 2 clicks and turn off. Let's measure the accuracy. It is accurate with 2 coffee beans. It's giving me 0.3. So moving on to the next scale, the one that checks so many boxes, the Varia AKU scale. Now I have here all the colors with me with different pads. They come with silver pads and black pad. They have the white, the black, and the silver one. Probably has the best water resistance between all these scales due to the fact that it comes with a silicone plug to cover the charging port. Closed from all the angles, closed from the bottom. Of course, they do not recommend submerging it in water. The on-off switch on the back. The shape of it is nice. The weight. It comes with a travel case. That is a huge benefit. In addition to that, I love the fact they offer you with the calibration weight. Usually scales at this price tag, they will not go to bother to offer you the 100-gram calibration weight. And calibration weight is really important because if you are considering to travel and take it with you, due to the difference in the atmosphere and the altitude, it will affect the measuring unit inside the scale, maybe even by half a gram. So having that calibration unit is really helpful, especially if you are investing so much money in a scale. I like the LCD screen. It is bright. Of course, more brightness is always welcome, but it is bright enough for you. The thing with the Varia AKU scale, it is somewhere in between those scales that wait until you reach 1 gram to give you the weight, and those scales like those, wherever they will show you the measuring weight from the first coffee bean. For instance, right now I put 3 beans and gave me 0.3. The first coffee bean, the second coffee bean, it did not give me readings. The reason behind this is an algorithm inside the scale itself to try to ignore the 0.1 gram difference in a fluctuation to prevent the scale from keep giving you different readings. I've noticed this in different scales. However, this does not mean it's not accurate. It is really accurate and it lives to the expectations. And if you want to place 2 cups or large cup on the surface of it, it will easily be able to fit that. And yeah, that's it, the Varia AKU scale. Moving on to the high-end espresso scale, I have here the most expensive 2 espresso scales on the market, the Felicita Arc scale and the AKU Lunar. I will start with the Felicita. I like the fact of its wide design. It's easily able to hold 2 espresso cups. It is all metal built. It feels very well made. I like the touch screen. Basically, the Felicita, the response and the latency is one of the fastest scales out of there. It is really accurate. I really like the response for it. It is very fast. You just touch instantly, instant response. You put just 1 coffee bean, instantly 0.2 gram. If I'm putting it on the right corner, on the lower corner. This was for a long time and still is one of my favorite scales due to the fact how accurate and how fast it is. In addition to that, it is very affordable. The prices fluctuate between $120 up to $200. However, on average, you'll be able to find it for $150. The disadvantage of this scale is that there is no way you'll be able to reach the company. I did try to search for them, send emails, get in touch. It is very difficult to get in touch with the company, and if you are going to invest $150, you want some support from the company. For instance, if the battery die, you're just not gonna throw the scale away. However, if you are buying it from a reseller, most resellers will cover your scale under the warranty 1 year or 2 years. But still, even after 2 years, there is no way to get in touch with the company. So this is something to take in mind if you are planning to go with this scale. Personally, I've got this scale from AliExpress. I've been using it for 2.5 years. The battery is still surprisingly very good. It's still functioning perfect. Moving to the AKU Lunar. AKU were one of the very first few companies and probably the most popular company in coffee scales. They have their Pearl scale and their Lunar scale, and they also have a smaller version than this. It is not very popular as much as this one. Almost in any coffee shop you'll find AKU Lunar scale. Due to the fact they have very long lasting battery, it is very customizable. You can customize the dimness of the light, brightness of the screen. You can customize the sleeping time when it auto turn off. One coffee bean, it will show you everything, 0.2 whatever you put it. It is super fast. It will read your instant response you will get from it. Even the latency on the screen is very fast, and I think they offer 2 years warranty for this one instead of the 1 year. And in case of something happen, at least you'll be able to get in touch with the company, get a replacement battery, or at least to figure out what's wrong with your scale. My main issue with AKU is the price tag. And it is not the price tag in the US, it's the price tag in Europe. For instance, this one in the US is for $250. This is the white version that has ceramic coating for easier cleaning. It is kind of easier cleaning. Okay, I accept it for $250 in the US. However, around Europe, it can reach up to 350 euro. That is really expensive for coffee scale. You can get almost 4 Varia AKU scales for the price of one of AKU Lunar scales. It is priced for a reason. They keep offering updates. It is Type-C charging cable. They are there for customers. Still many people will love it, and I know you will feel the quality. It's just a question of if you are willing to invest that much money into it or not. Now moving to the next category, kind of the filter brewing scales. I'll be starting with the first few 2 scales. This one is by a company called CafedeKona. It is kind of similar to the one by Timemore Black Mirror, which we've already tested and we love. I do not have it here, but you should consider that scale. It is highly recommended and it is really nice one. It has a very unique feature. It has screen on both sides. And I think this is the perfect feature for coffee shops, because many times in coffee shop, if you're having barista is brewing for filtered coffee in front of you, it is really nice to have the readings from both sides. It is unique with this scale. I do wish if the colors were slightly more contrast. They are tough to read. I like it. It's a good consideration for dual screens coffee scale. The next one, the category is one by the ArtisanBarista. They offer very nice colors. I have here the pink one. There's maybe baby blue and black and white, I think. It is very accurate. I like the screen readings. It is super responsive. Let's check the accuracy. It starts measuring with 2 coffee beans. It is really accurate. I would say this scale can be used for espresso, but due to its thickness, similar to this one, they are more designed for filtered coffee, towards filtered coffee. It is nice. You can easily fit portafilter on top of it. It comes with a silicone measuring panel. You can remove it and you can decide to use it without the panel. It looks funny without the panel, but yeah, I know that they offer an alternative, larger stainless steel panel or plastic panel you can put instead of the silicone one. As is, the silicone one is really nice, and yeah, it's an interesting option. Moving on to the next scales, the one from Dyfluid. Now Dyfluid is a famous company for refractometers. We made a video about them before in the past, and we are planning to make a newer video about their refractometer. However, this one is scaled by them. It is really interesting one due to the fact of its price and accuracy. It's called MicroBalance scale by Dyfluid. It has a very bright screen and white panel, something similar to the AKU Lunar, but I think they were unique in their design and shape. It is very responsive and very accurate. Let's check for it, like this 1 coffee bean, 2 coffee beans, it gave me 0.2. I really like the reading and the brightness. It is very bright. I would say out of all of these scales, it is probably the brightest, if not one of the brightest. I do wish if the numbers were slightly larger, but I think they were trying to save some space. It is an alternative to the AKU Pearl, which we'll be touching on next, as a smaller size and cheaper price range. Moving on to the next one, the AKU Pearl scale. Once again, the AKU Pearl scale, you can find it almost in any coffee shop. It is very famous. It will still be famous for a long time due to the fact of its durability, accuracy, long life battery, the large readings, the updates that they keep offering to the program, the firmware updates, the sounds, the features. I really like this white. It is full white color as opposed to the one from Dyfluid where you have black LCD screen, or even the one in AKU Lunar where you have black LCD screen. It is full white and the colors are still bright as opposed to this one from CafedeKona. I would say the AKU pearl is more reasonably priced for around like I think 150 to 200 US dollars. It is more reasonably priced for scale this size and to be used in a coffee shop. In coffee shops you want something reliable. Accidents happen, portafilter might hit the scale. You don't want one hit to be damaging the weighing cell. Last but not least, the Fellow Tally scale. This one has recently came. It is brand new by Fellow company. I love their products. We reviewed their coffee kettle. You can feel free to check that one. We reviewed their coffee grinder. And with this one, they brought scale, especially for brewing coffee. Now, personally, based on my experience during the years after testing many different scales, especially for filter coffee, I've noticed that whenever a company is trying to offer assistance in brewing coffee, they always end up complicating stuff for you and you feel, no, just stop it. I want something accurate, practical, and that's it. And the Fellow Tally scale, it is an expensive scale. It is not cheap. It is expensive for a reason. They've implemented a lot of features. It is really accurate and it's unique. At the same time, they were trying to meet that point of offering you features that you can use on a daily basis. Let me speak about the features. First of all, you have a dialing knob similar to the one in the Fellow kettle, and you have a button between switching mode. The first mode is weight. I just wanted to weigh coffee beans for me and that's it. It will show you large weighing number on the screen. We're putting one coffee bean, it's measuring it. And the panel on the surface, it is thin layer of metal. It is high end. The body of the scale has that glass finish similar to their kettle, the Studio Edition kettle. So it has three options. The Brew Assist, which we will be touching on shortly. The timer, it gives you practical. Weight / timer. You can turn on the timer by a dedicated button, pause the timer, replay the timer, pause the timer, or keep pushing the timer button and it will tear out the timing. The third mode is just weight. If you just want to weigh your coffee beans, have full screen of weighing coffee beans. With one coffee bean, it will give you readings. Now back to the first mode, which makes this scale very special. It gives you the ability to choose the weight ratio. And this is helpful of not having to calculate. For instance, I have a coffee bag here. I have 17 grams left over and you can decide the brew ratio. And filter coffee in general, they say it's 1 to 15. I'm gonna use right here 1 to 14 brew ratio. And you just start the timer. It will zero the timer and it will show you the target. And at the moment you start pouring water, the timer will automatically start, and when you reach your weighing target, the screen will blink for you. It is enjoyable. It's a nice option, especially if you have full Fellow setup with a Fellow Ode, the Fellow kettle. This one will be the perfect companion for that. So to summarize everything, it's been a lot, I spoke a lot. Each scale has its each feature, an advantage and disadvantage. With today's market, with all these scales, it is up to you to pick up your preference. However, personally, if I had to recommend a very practical scale that will fit filter coffee, espresso, it's worth the investment. You can take it with you on travels. Comes with its own travel bag, with its own weighing measuring unit, which by the way, the AKU Lunar and the AKU Pearl comes with it. I forgot to mention that. Then the Varia AKU scale is your best option. Ability of better water resistance, close the charging port. None of these scales offer this. And yeah, even the AKU Lunar, they leave the charging port open. That's my, probably the most versatile scale is the Varia AKU scale. If you want something smaller or cheaper, just minimalistic design, don't want to spend 100 or above US dollars, then definitely the SearchPean and MiiCoffee scales are your best options. The SearchPean will be from AliExpress. I don't know if they will be able to cover the warranty for you. The MiiCoffee has a very nice high contrast screen. I like the build quality, the size and shape of it. So it's a very good consideration. If you want something for a coffee shop and you want something reliable with a very large battery, the AKU Lunar is still there. It is an option. The Felicita, you'll be risking the warranty. I would say it is outdated with its charging port and you are not able to change the battery if something happened to it. However, if you are buying it from a reseller and you want to get the accuracy of AKU Lunar, it is there an option. For filter coffee, the one from ArtisanBarista, it's a very nice consideration for coffee shop, especially with different colors. It might fit the vibe of that coffee shop. Black, white, baby blue. The CafedeKona also wonderful option with the dual screen, but the contrast is slightly low and light. It might be difficult to read. The AKU Pearl is there. However, I think the difluid MicroBalance scale is really competitive over the AKU Pearl. It is cheaper and reliable. It checks all the boxes. Last but not least, the fellow. It is expensive, but it's there for a reason. If you want to fit the vibe of your fellow equipment, I would say it is the Brew Assistant mod in it is the most enjoyable one I've tried so far between different old scales that were trying to mimic that Brew Assistant approach. Huge thanks to Ritual Barista here in the UK for sending us both the Acaia Pearl and Acaia Lunar for a visit. I'm very pleased that I was able to include all the scales that interests me in this video, and those were the final additions, so huge thanks to them. Feel free to check them if you want to give the Acaia scales here a go. One last thing, we have a giveaway in this video. 3 lucky winners will be able to win 3 Varia AKU scales. Huge thanks to the Varia team for joining us on the giveaway on this video. Good luck everyone. 3 AKU scales. That's it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed everything. I was trying to be as brief as possible, and in the end, you are the judge. Make your choice. If you have any of these scales, let us know in the comment section. We love to hear your thoughts. And take care. See you very soon. Bye.